Jean Arthur. Jean Arthur was born Gladys Georgianna Greene on October 17, 1900, in Plattsburgh, New York. She began her career in silent films in the early 1920s and transitioned to sound films in the late 1920s. Arthur had feature roles in 3 Frank Capra films: Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, 1936, You Can't Take It With You, 1938, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, 1939. She also starred alongside Cary Grant in Only Angels Have Wings, 1939, and The Talk of the Town, 1942. Arthur received an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress for her performance in The More the Merrier, 1943. She was closely associated with the screwball comedy genre and was called the quintessential comedic leading lady. Arthur's last film performance was in the classic Western Chain, 1953, where she played the homesteader's wife. Like Greta Garbo, Arthur was known for her aversion to publicity and rarely granted interviews or signed autographs. She dropped out of high school in her junior year due to family circumstances and worked as a stenographer before pursuing acting. Arthur was discovered by Fox Film Studios while doing commercial modeling in New York City in the early 1920s. Her stage name, Jean Arthur, was inspired by her heroes Joan of Arc and King Arthur. Arthur struggled in her early film career and worked in B-westerns, often cast in roles for action pictures. She initially resisted the transition to sound films but eventually embraced it with the help of a sound coach. Arthur's breakthrough role came in The Canary Murder Case, 1929, opposite William Powell and Louise Brooks. She signed a long-term contract with Columbia Pictures in 1934 and became one of their top stars. Arthur's role in Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, 1936, propelled her to international stardom and earned her critical acclaim. Despite her success, Arthur disliked media attention and avoided social gatherings in Hollywood. She was considered for the role of Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind, 1939, but did not receive the part. Arthur reunited with James Stewart and Frank Capra in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, 1939, playing a working woman who guides Stewart's character. She starred in Howard Hawks' Only Angels Have Wings, 1939, alongside Cary Grant, further cementing her status as a leading lady. Arthur's fee for The Talk of the Town, 1942, was lower than her male co-stars Cary Grant and Ronald Colman due to a dispute with the studio boss. She left Columbia Pictures in 1944 and retired briefly before returning to film for A Foreign Affair, 1948, and Shane, 1953. Arthur faced stage fright and psychosomatic illnesses during her later stage performances, leading to challenges in her theater career. Despite her reclusive nature, Arthur returned to television in the 1960s, starring in her own sitcom The Jean Arthur Show. Despite her aversion to publicity, Jean Arthur remains a beloved and influential figure in the history of American cinema, known for her iconic roles in classic films and her unique screen presence.